Good evening. On behalf of my board colleagues, I would like to call to order this March public hearing. Today is Monday, March the 23rd. Welcome to those joining us as well as those watching us online, ABSS staff, students, and families. County Commissioner Priola, it's good to see you. County Commissioner Thompson, it's good to see you as well. And as always, our friends from the media. Board members, you've had an opportunity to review the agenda. Is there a motion to approve at this time?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I failed to mention that Jason Weber is joining us this evening on behalf of Tharrington Smith. Mr. Mitchell is traveling, so welcome, Jason. Thank you for being with us. Dr. Hall is also unable to be with us this evening. Did I miss anything else? Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. No, that's in the regular. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I will invite Dr. Fleming, Mr. Messer, or Mr. Hook for our budget consideration presentation. Mr. Mitchell is traveling, so welcome, Jason. Thank you for being with us.
We do.
Dr.
We've got
Hall
some-
is also unable to be with us this evening.
All right,
No, that's
Madam Chair, members of the board, good evening. I'll be very brief. Mr. Messer is going to briefly go over the budget again. I know the board has heard this probably a few times now. Members of the public have probably only heard it once. Well, actually, probably a couple times there too. But this is our final edition. You do have a printed copy, thanks to our communications office for getting that prepared in a very timely manner. They've been very busy with the strategic plan and rezoning, and so it has been a busy time for them. So we appreciate them doing it. And with all that said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Messer, and then I believe followed up by Mr. Hook. Probably a couple times there too. But this is our final edition. You do have a printed copy, thanks to.
All over again. It's
Are
like
we
deja
ready?
vu all over again.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, superintendent. At the March 10th board work session, I presented a $62.8 million local current expense budget for 26-27. This proposal includes an 8% increase over the current 25-26 that we're operating in. As you can see on the screen here is a summary sheet or slide of the expansion request items. Certified employee supplement increase of $925,000. A classified employee supplement increase of $280,000, which increases the bands by $200 per 5-year band of experience. Academic services for $1,090,000. Utilities, $148,000. Co-curricular, $300,000. You can read the slide, and it's $4.658 million. And shares of the new funding make up employee compensation is 26% of that. Academic and student services is 39%. Operations and facilities is 14%. School safety 5%, and then of course our charter school obligation is 16%. If you'll go to the spreadsheet. There we go. This right here is the breakdown of where we're currently operating at with the expansion increases. So you'll see the line item budget by purpose or program in which we really operate as a school district. You can scroll to the bottom and you can see it's a $62.7 million, 62.8 local current expense budget proposal in front of you. There's some takeaways I want you to have of this budget, and that is support for employees. We have certified and classified supplement increases, focus on recruitment and retention, strengthening student services with expanded academic services and additional support for students with special needs. Safe and operational schools with school resource officers, utilities, technology, and facility maintenance. and of course, our charter school funding piece of it. What was presented at the 10th, on the 10th, nothing has changed, and I'm glad to answer any questions that you may have with the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Messer. Questions from board members? Yes, Mr. Rogers.
So, Mr. Messner, well, appreciate the continuation from the previous time when you presented the budget to us, because I guess one of the questions was gonna be if there was any change, but looking through everything, it looks like it's all the same from the previous presentation. And so from my understanding is the budget request is for the $4,658,149. And last year, our request was for $5,720,000. And so that, this year is roughly about a $1,061,851 difference from the previous year, correct?
That's correct.
And then I know we received, from the county commissioners was, what we actually received was $3,970-some thousand. So basically about a $678,000 difference from what we received to what we're requesting this year as far as an increase.
That's right.
So I know you had in there about the compensation and benefits increase and saying some of that stuff was anticipated. Is that we don't know what the anticipation is? Is that due to not having a state budget and not knowing what those benefits is possibly going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. You know, we as finance officers in the region have to get together and we have to kind of give our best guess as to what those compensation and benefit increases will be, because if there's no budget passed, or if they do pass the budget after our budget's adopted, we have one or two options. One is that we use our fund balance to fund those increases, or we go back to the commissioners and say, hey, we didn't ask for the increase in our budget for these mandated increases for employees. So we'd like to get out in front of that. So if, they come in and the raise is less than what we are asking for, or if it's more, then we have to go to the board if it's more and ask the board to use fund balance to make up the difference. Or what we do is, if there's any left over, if it comes in under what we requested, then we'll go to the board and ask, what would you like to spend this additional funding on?
Okay. And then just one other thing about the charter schools, because I know that always comes up as a conversation piece every year whenever we're talking about the budget, because people see that we put in a request for the charter schools. And I want to say on the slide for the charter schools, it says that we're paying out to 49 charter schools.
That fluctuates every month, but last month it was 49.
Okay. And could you just explain why, why we put that in as a request and how that, is requirement from the state on us doing that piece?
So if we don't put it as a line item in our budget, then everything that we ask for and get supported by the county commissioners is underfunded, because we have to take a certain percent of what they fund us and get to the charter schools. So it's better just go ahead and say, hey, this much of the increase that you're going to ask for or they fund, we have to put that as a line item and send that to charter schools. So right now, roughly, we're around 11%. If we ask, for $1 million for operational increases, then we won't get the $11 million for operational increases, because we have to give 11% to the charter schools.
And just one last thing around the charter school piece, because like I said, I was looking at the slide, looking at it now, and like you said, it does fluctuate monthly. But we're paying it out to 49 charter schools roughly. And I know for some people that might be confusing, because in Alamance County, we only have, currently maybe 5 charter schools that are here in the county. And just explain out the why we're paying out to those multiple schools that's not here in the actual county.
That's a great question. It is that the percentage of our students, the roughly 11% of our students are attending 49 different charter schools. So the money follows the student, not to the charter school.
Okay.
So if we have a student that's attending a charter school in a different state, we still have to pay that on their behalf if they show they have residency here in Alamance County.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other questions from board members? Ms. Harvey?
So, Mr. Messner, could you explain if a community member or maybe a parent wanted to follow this budget process, wanted to see this, because maybe they couldn't be here tonight or can't make the meetings, is there a way for them to see this online, to be able to see what the budget is, what we're requesting, and so forth?
Yeah, all this information, if it's not already posted on our dashboard, our finance dashboard, it will be, as soon as the budget's approved by the board, or shortly thereafter. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Dr. Fleming?
Yeah, I was going to ask Mr. Mister not to extend this time before we allow the public to speak, but I thought it would be important for him to kind of go over, we've got one of the slides up there, but for him to kind of go over some of the good things, because a year and a half ago when I joined ABSS, the financial picture was not where it is today. And our county commissioners did invest more in our public schools last year, so I want to make that clear as well. But if you could you run through that slide deck real quick, like you did in the last meeting? Because if someone wasn't able to tune in, they'd be able to.
The entire presentation?
Well, at least the priorities, where last year's money went, and some of the good news on there. I just think it's important that everyone sees there is some good news out there, and there's definitely good news on the fiscal side. Maybe not so much on the facility side, but there certainly is on the current operations side.
So the 26-27 budget priorities are basically the same as they were in 25-26. Sustain a local salary supplement where they're competitive with surrounding districts in the state of North Carolina. Fund state-driven increases for salaries and benefits, and sustain operational needs. As I spoke at the last meeting, that everything costs more as we continue forward in the current economy, and to provide additional certified staff. There is absolutely no extra people in the school district because there's just not any funding to provide for additional people. So as we get additional funds from the county commissioners, then we will provide certified staff for areas of academics and things like that. Our funding sources, 57% on the state, local, and then you have capital at 9%, federal 6%. I will note that federal last year was above 14%, but that's because we spent the remaining portions of the ESSER funds. So whenever that money goes away, then the percentages increases with the other funding resources. Funding per pupil. I talked quite a bit about this slide at the last meeting. Not pretty. Basically, when you add all of our funding sources together, we rank 109th out of 116 funding for school districts on the operational side. And depending on how the upcoming budget season goes for us and all of the surrounding districts and throughout the state of North Carolina, it's not too far-fetched to think that we could be 116. I'm not going to sit here and say that we will be, but it's a possibility.
And I want to add to that because I think this is an important piece. We're the 15th, 16th largest school district, 15th largest school district in the state of North Carolina, and locally we're ranked 99th out of 115. You would think we would be ranked 15th or 16th in the state locally. So I say all that because I know there will be some conversations probably around is ABSS funded at an adequate level? I'll be the first to tell you we're probably not adequate at state level or federal level for that matter, but we're definitely not at the local level as well when we're ranked 99th, and we are definitely not the 99th poorest school district or county in North Carolina. So.
I will note that, if you go back to that slide, please. These are not my numbers. These are the state of North Carolina's numbers, and there's my source there. So, next slide, please. Budgeting factors, these were basically the same as the prior year, and they'll probably be the same going into the next budget season because there's so many unknowns at the time that we are asking for our budget to be approved. The community growth is unknown. We don't have a state budget for this year, much less next year. And as far as our supplements, we're less competitive now than we have been in some years. So, I mean, that's a budgeting factor to look at. And as the state of North Carolina starts downsizing their state departments, it pushes more responsibility to us for the compliance and reporting responsibilities. And then, of course, we don't know how many students are going to show up at the door. Next slide. This right here just goes into each one of the next slides go into each one of the requests, and it gives the data to support all of the requests, as you can see. And I do want to say, I'd make a correction. At the meeting on the 10th, I did say that ABSS had the 36 ranked supplement, teacher supplement in North Carolina. It is actually 36, not 37. So that correction has been made on the slide. Next slide. The $280,000 increase for the classified employee supplement, which was brand new last year. This year, we're asking to increase that to $200 annually per classified employee. And there's the new scale there, $1,200 to $1,700, depending on how many years of state service that you have. Academic services increase, certified positions, 3 roughly. When you take into the benefit costs and the salary, an average position costs about $100,000 for a certified position. Software, which was previously funded with ESSER dollars on the academic side, we're looking to actually have a local line item to help absorb that. And then a new curriculum for K-5. Exceptional children and SLP certified staff supplement, $1,500 per employee. I think that everyone in here, the board knows that the issues that we're having in the area of supporting those students. Reduces vacancies. All right, request operating expense, $562,000. Everything is going up. Contracted services, just our annual technology needs as far as telephone and things like that. Things are just going up, and we haven't asked for an increase in those areas in some time. You have insurances and your overhead expenses and utilities that are increasing as the reason for the ask. Next slide. Compensation benefits. One of the things that we have focused on since I've been at ABSS is pushing the majority of our employees to be funded with state dollars. Just so that if we're having any issues with workers' comp and things like that, then the state of North Carolina will pick up the majority of those. But since we are dually funded, all of our employees are dually funded now with the supplement, the local has to pick up some of that if we do have expenses that are incurred in those areas. So really, basically, you're only looking at about an $85,000 increase, even if they do come in at a 3% raise, because really the only locally paid employees we have are maintenance and some school building admins, because the state of North Carolina does not pay for an AP in every building. And of course, the central office admin budget allocated at the state hasn't changed in 25 years. So you have some central office admin salaries in that as well. Co-curricular, I had Mr. Davis come up and talk with you because he knew the details, but the increase is to add some positions to ease some of the, I guess, supervision needs that are needed with some of these sporting events and athletics, and to be more competitive with surrounding districts as far as offering stipends to coaches. Next slide. And then there's a charter school expense of $750,000. And of course, that can fluctuate. And then this is the majority of what our local money is spent on: the certified employee supplement, our maintenance, charter schools, utilities, school building administration, and operations. And that is 44 million of what we asked for in our $62.8 million budget. And those are the locally funded employees that, you have some custodians and substitutes Some office support, but most of our office support personnel is paid for with state funds. And that's the summary screen in which I started with, of 4.658 million. And then there's the financial good news. I think you've seen this slide 3 or 4 times in the past 3 or 4 months, but you know, we've had a clean audit for the 24-25 year. No question calls, findings, or exceptions during that audit. We do have a positive local current expense fund balance now, and our internal audit process is giving us benefits every day as we move forward in restructuring our budget and processes. Are there any questions? Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Messer. Ms. Harvey?
I just want to say thank you for all that you and your team do. It's not easy. I'm sure when you look at these numbers, it takes a lot of thinking and ways to make it work. But you guys do it. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you. It's a collaborative team effort with good leadership by Dr. Fleming.
All right. Any other questions or comments from board members? Thank you, Mr. Messer.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, when we get into our regular meeting to vote on this, I won't make Mr. Messer go through that whole slide deck again. But he will be available for questions. In case you're wondering, are we going to listen to this again? It is good news, though.
I didn't know I was going to do it this time. You kind of put
That's
me on
right.
the spot.
That's right.
We always love the opportunity to share good news. Sorry to put you through that. Now I will welcome Mr. Hook to share our capital improvement budget.
Madam Chair, Dr. Fleming, members of the board, I think this is the 4th time I've shown you these numbers. I'm going to go for the summary pages, and we'll go from there. So this first summary page that I'm showing you is the 5-year capital improvement plan budget. This covers the bigger ticket items for our facilities. You can see we have a line for roof replacements, HVAC replacements, school safety, asphalt paving. There is a line for new school facilities that are projected. And then separately, we show a line for technology funding across each of the 5 years. I will point out that the technology funding in 26-27 is higher because this is the year for replacement of all teacher devices. I'm going to skip through these pages that show the breakdown, but I'm glad to take any questions. And I want to show you the capital outlay budget for 26-27 through 30-31. Statutorily, we're required to make this request to the county. In these categories, equipment, facilities, and vehicles, on the following pages, you can see the specifics that fall into each of those 5 years. But here you can see the total across the 5 years.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Hook? Any comments? Yes, Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, quick comment. Thank you, Mr. Hook, for the 4th time. I just wish for people, the audience, could see some of our facilities before this team got in and started doing the work. My kids in school, and this team's doing great work to take care of you guys, which are important. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Any other questions or comments? We are going to move into, thank you, Mr. Hook. We are going to move into our public comments portion of our budget hearing. Please keep in mind, if you have signed up to speak, this is for the public budget hearing only. So I believe we've got 10 speakers that have indicated they're here to speak for the budget. I'm going to take a quick minute to go through our public comment policy. It's section 2310 online if you want to read the full policy. You have 3 minutes. Each individual may have 3 minutes to speak at the podium. The timer will chime exactly after 3 minutes. This is for the public budget hearing only. So I believe we've got 10 speakers that have indicated they're here to speak for the budget. I'm going to take a quick minute to go through our public comment policy. Can I just keep talking? Okay. To our speakers, please be sure to address the members of the board with your comments and not the audience. To board members, please remember we don't respond to speakers except to request clarification of points made. And to the members of the audience, we ask that you refrain from clapping, snapping, or vocalizing at any time during public comments. Tonight, we have 10 speakers signed up for the budget. When your name is called, please make your way to the podium and state your full name before beginning comments. Before we start, I just saw our newest county commissioner join us, so welcome, Mr. Powell, to our board meeting. Our first speaker this evening is Tabitha Boswell. Members of the audience, we ask that you refrain from clapping, snapping, or vocalizing at any time during public comments. Tonight, we have 10 speakers signed up for the budget. When your name is called, please make your way to the podium and state your full name before beginning comments.
First time I've ever had to lower something for me. All right.
Join us, so welcome, Mr. Powell, to our board meeting. Our first
Good evening. My name is Tabitha Boswell. I am a fourth grade teacher at North Graham now. I am the vice president of ABAE, and I also have graduated through Alamance Burlington School Systems. I proudly work as a fourth grade teacher in this county to an amazing group of students, and my students are determined and hardworking to meet their goals that we make collectively. And I tell them there's nothing that they can't do. I believe in my students to the core of my being, but unfortunately, many of my students are not able to receive the services necessary for their success. And I watch two of the most amazing EC teachers I know with huge caseloads trying to service them. I watch the speech therapist at my school work tirelessly every single day with a smile on her face with our students to give them their services. But though I think my team as superheroes, we are humans and we cannot do the impossible, my students are not receiving the services owed to them, even with the hard work of our EC staff and the determination as well. Our students deserve the best education possible. And as previously stated, we could do better for our budgeting, as stated by Dr. Fleming. So I'm going to X out the thing that I had actually talked about because he already brushed up on that as well. Alamance has grown considerably every single year, but yet we are not budgeting for our students, which is our future. I asked the Board of Education to support us as lovers of public schools, educators, and community members to support us in our campaign to address the EC emergency in our district. To address this, I ask for full restoration of our MTSS interventionists, or in some schools called instructional specialists. And I also ask you to go with us to ask for the county commissioners to support our EC workers by supporting a 0.25% sales tax for education. This sales tax, what we would ask for, would be put on the ballot that would help us raise the pay above the state salary schedule and address the chronic, unfilled vacancies, as vacancies harm our students with special needs. This places a huge weight on other staff members, as we know. And this tax allows our county residents to help pay and outside of county residents to pay as well. This would do so without increasing property taxes. Our students are our greatest investment that we can make because our students are the future. And I ask you to join educators in supporting us, and our students are the future. If we don't invest in them properly, we're not investing in our future and putting students first and supporting our county by supporting the future leaders of this county, which are our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jack Worley.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Board. Thank you for hearing my comments. I am Jack Worley. I am the Adapted Curriculum EC teacher at Eastern Alamance High School. And I want to tell you a story. If you'll excuse me, I'll read so that I don't run over my time. They tell you that teaching is a calling, but sometimes it feels less like a calling and more like an endurance sport. This year, I didn't just teach special education, I lived it. Several people were interviewed, and at least 2 were hired on their way to the classroom next to mine. However, no one ever showed up. That left it up to my TAs and myself. Imagine mornings starting before the sun, driving in, knowing that the moment I walked through the door, I would not stop counting the kids in my head or anticipating the needs of all my students. No planning time, no prep time, no lunch. I learned to eat after 2:30 because that's when I can sit at my desk and take a deep breath. There was no co-teacher to help me plan, no one to help me with collecting data, and no one to help me write twice the load of my usual IEPs. Let's talk about IEPs, the crushing, unrelenting weight of compliance. Hours spent at home typing goals, monitoring progress, and documenting every single move because I did not want for us to have to go to court for something that I missed. My brain felt like a browser with too many tabs open, all of them freezing. There were days, honest to God, when I sat in my car at the end of the day, utterly drained, and I just cried. Not because I didn't love my students, but because I was so tired. You don't feel just burnt out, you feel empty. Without my TAs, I could not have made it, and without my coworkers, I would not have made it. But then I remember Amaya, whose smile would light up the room, who loved to be read to and inspired me to be a better teacher. She passed away this year. I remember my student that is stuck to me like glue. And every afternoon, she looks forward to sitting at my desk and talking to me while I eat my lunch and talking to me on her ACC device in full, complete conversation. She's amazing. I remember the student who couldn't spell his name in September, who can now sit down and write his full name, his birth date, his addresses, and the names of his parents and their phone numbers. That's why I do it, because when you hold the space for a child when no one else can, when you are the only one, and I'm speaking as my team, as we are the only ones, we are the difference between them being seen and being forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third speaker is Megan Hummel.
Good evening. My name is Megan Hummel, and I'm an adapted curriculum teacher here in Alamance Burlington Schools. I'm here today to speak in support of public education and the proposed budget request for the 26-27 school year. Public education matters. It's where we invest in our children's futures and, by extension, the futures of our community. Our public schools serve as places where every child, regardless of background or circumstance, has access to quality learning opportunities. We as educators work tirelessly every day to inspire, challenge, and support our students. We go far beyond the classroom. We mentor, advocate, and often provide resources from our own pockets. Our support staff, counselors, and administrators work equally hard to create safe, welcoming environments where learning can flourish. We as professionals deserve respect, fair compensation, and adequate resources. Funding public education adequately is not just spending money, it's investing in our future. I urge our board and county commissioners to work together to prioritize equitable funding, support competitive teacher supplements to attract and retain excellent educators, and support our system in providing a free, appropriate public education. Public education belongs to all of us. When we strengthen it, we strengthen our community. Thank you for your service and for considering these remarks.
Thank you. Our fourth speaker is Tasha Miles.
Good evening, Dr. Fleming, Chair Ellington Graves, and board members. My name is Tasha Miles, and I want to speak to you all on the budget and other concerns. I know that we are in the mix of getting our budget prepared for the 26-27 school year. With that being said, for our EC staff, thinking about the staff in the ACC rooms, they don't have enough help in the classrooms, considering the different the capabilities of the students in their class. They are not able to safely manage the needs that are required in their plans or in general. I think the solution is to get them a supplement. These persons don't get acknowledged for the work they do, and many may not know what all they do. Our EC department and classified staff are an important piece for our district, and it's important that we have openings in these following positions that have yet to be filled. I have had the opportunity to see and work with my colleagues, and I don't know how they do it. But when you see what they are doing for the kids, they're not doing it for the money, and that means a lot. I would like to say if and how the schools can support them, because a lot of them are getting burnt out and we can't afford to lose them. I have also had the opportunity to speak with EC chairs, and they have a lot on their plate as well, and I would like to say that certified staff get more incentives, and we need to see what other incentives can be brought in for the other staff as well. I know that you are aware, but I wanted to share, seeing it from the EC side for a little over a year definitely made me think more. I think that is not going to be easy to determine, but I wanted to make sure you have it from someone who is invested in this district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our fifth speaker is Robert Alvis.
Good evening, Board of Education. So I'm Robert Alvis, social studies teacher at Williams High School, also a product of Alamance County Schools, proud graduate of Western Alamance High School. So I want to say thank you all for the work on the budget that you've done, especially with the ABSS staff, and in coming here to speak in favor of the budget proposal, particularly with regards to the proposed EC pay supplement. And so my comments tonight aren't necessarily directed at you particularly, but just for anyone who might wonder about why that's important and why that is in the budget. So some backstory for us on our end. I'm a proud member of the Alamance Burlington Association of Educators, and typically every fall we have conversations through a listening campaign with educators from across the district about what are the needs that your school experiences. And unequivocally, in all the dozens of conversations I had this fall semester, EC needs continually came up. I spoke with educators at Western Alamance High School who have 3 vacancies in their EC department, and it's impossible for a department to function when you're missing a third of it. There was a parent whose child attends AO Elementary who needs speech language services who just can't receive them because they do not have a speech language pathologist. And the speech language pathologist crisis in our district has gotten even more severe over the years. Many more of them have left, and those vacancies have only increased. So the proposed pay supplement, and speaking to you as a general educator, you know, I'm a regular classroom teacher. Like, I unequivocally say that our EC TAs and teachers, anyone who works with the students with special needs, deserve that supplement and need it, especially to address those vacancies, because our district is not failing through mismanagement or a misallocation of resources, but quite simply not having what we need to be able to meet those needs. Right, and in this case, especially not having the finances to be able to recruit and retain those people. We are not competitive as a district in that regard, and we need to be. And so we have what we call the EC emergency in the sense that this is not something that can wait another year or something that we can, you know, just kick that can down the road, but it needs immediate action. And therefore, I especially appreciate that that's included in this year's budget request. And I appreciate very much having a board that is willing to and ambitious enough to ask for what our children deserve and what they need. So in our campaign, we were able to get over 300 signatures in favor of restoring the instructional specialist at the elementary level, as well as the EC pay supplement for everyone who works with students with special needs. We would have gotten even more signatures if we had more time, but it's also hard to get people to sign things with an apocalyptic ice storm, as you know. Yeah, I just want to say thank you all for all the work that you did with this budget, and I'm very glad to see that included in the request because it is absolutely essential. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our sixth speaker is Phyllis Crisp.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Crisp. I work at Grove Park Elementary School as an adaptive curriculum classroom teacher assistant. I'm a proud Alamance Burlington Association of Educators Union member. I have been working in Alamance County for 10 plus years. I am also an alumni of Alamance Burlington School System. I'm a mother of 8 children, and 5 of those are also alumni of Alamance Burlington School System. And I also have grandchildren who are now a part of the alumni. I'm here tonight because I am passionate about the future of our children who are entitled and deserving of a great public education. As a mother and as a daughter of an 81-year-old dad who would have been a recipient of EC services. He's dyslexic and unable to read. He had a difficult time growing up. He was he was a great dad, is a great dad. And so this is very close to my heart. But I just feel like as an educator in the EC department, I've had the experience from both sides of the coin. I recently spoke with a coworker at one of our local high schools who informed me that he has a student who receives EC services and is unable to read and is presently a year away from an expected graduation. This conversation is why myself and other Alamance Burlington public school staff implore you, the board, to restore the instructional coaching positions and make a real financial commitment to filling vacant EC positions, along with compensating the EC staff who are working hard to fill the gaps facing our most vulnerable students. We look forward to the county and the union collaborating on making this a reality. I do believe that together, frontline staff and district officials can collaboratively solve these problems to improve outcomes for all students. Thank you.
Thank you. Our 7th speaker is Sean Ewing.
Good evening, board. My name's Councilman Sean Ewing. I live in Mebane, I work in the private sector, and I'm proud to call Alamance County home. I'm here as a councilman, I'm here as your neighbor, and I'm here as a partner who sees the direct link between how we treat our schools and the strength of our community. We often hear that we can't afford to increase spending, but as someone who lives and breathes this community, I'm here to say we can't afford not to. I see the impact of our choices every day, whether I'm volunteering a local 5K, attending a local community festival or event. I see the families who are the heart of Alamance County, whether it be in Mebane, Graham, Haw River, Green Level, Burlington, Elon, Gibsonville, Alamance, Ossipee, Snow Camp, Eli Whitney, and all the other towns and villages in our great county. When our county ranks 99th out of 100 in local funding, it's a signal to every family looking to move here and every business looking to hire here that we aren't prioritizing our future. Low funding doesn't just stay behind school walls. It affects our property values, our local economy, and the safety of our streets. When we underinvest, we are essentially placing a growth ceiling on our own neighborhoods. This is most visible in our exceptional children's programs. We have a moral and community and likely a legal obligation to support these students, yet we are losing specialized educators to neighboring counties because our supplements don't compete. Supporting the $1,500 supplement for EC teachers isn't just a line item. It's about making sure the kids down the street gets the speech therapy or specialized instruction they need to become a productive, thriving adult here in Alamance County. I want to thank you all for your budget. I want to thank you all for looking past the spreadsheets and actually looking at the people of our county. You all doing a fantastic job, and I want to commend you. So thank you, and let's stop settling for 99th place. Let's invest in our students so they can continue to make this county a great place to live in. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our 8th speaker is Southie Blanton.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, board. My name's Southie Blanton. I live in Burlington, North Carolina. I'm currently running to be the next state senator for North Carolina Senate District 25, but I'm here tonight as the child of a public school teacher, a product of North Carolina public schools, and a current parent to 4 amazing ABSS students. When I was in elementary school, I remember one day coming home from school and seeing a giant machine in our living room. My dad explained that it was a copier. It was roughly the size of a VW Beetle and twice as loud. He had purchased it secondhand because my mom and her fellow teachers were running out of their allotted copies at their school. That copier proceeded to make what I would roughly estimate to be 11 billion copies of handouts, worksheets, and flyers over the course of my mom's teaching career. That was 30 years ago. Cut to today, where my wife and I make our yearly purchase of snacks, crayons, markers, paper, and we take them with us to meet the teacher night to kick off the school year every year. Each week we receive newsletters with important dates and events, and without fail, a list of supplies, the kind of supplies that fully funded schools should have available to everyone. If you tallied up the amount of items that parents and teachers and community members have made to their classrooms, I'd wager we have all collectively provided more per pupil funding than the General Assembly has in recent years. As of today, right now, the state of North Carolina has gone 266 days without a state budget. That lack of a budget and rise in costs across the state and the country have led to things like Wake County proposing $18 million cuts to special education funding. I just got done with my 10th year of IEP meetings for our oldest, and I cannot emphasize enough how important the EC coordinators, speech therapists, and teachers he's had have helped him to thrive in ABSS schools. I encourage everyone in this room to take a moment, if you can, and reach out to your state legislators and ask them why Duke Energy and corporations get help, but public schools do not. And I want to make sure this board knows that I not only support their current plan and budget requests, but I think they should have asked for more. As a parent, I'm going to keep showing up for my kids. I know every single ABSS employee is going to keep showing up for them too. And I hope that you all as a board stay unified and continue to fight for them as you have been. Legislators have done everything in their power to wreck public education, and my hope is you all show them what a community that loves public schools can look like. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our ninth speaker is Sarah Edmonds. Hello there.
Hello. I brought little people, so we're going to do the best we can and be as quiet as we can. All right. Good evening. My name is Sarah Edmonds. I live in Burlington. Whoa, Minnow. Where are you going? I'm here to represent Public School Strong. I've lived in the southern part of the county and am a former ABSS teacher. In a recent community survey that we are doing, several areas of concern were identified, and these include safety, staff shortages, competitive pay, not enough or unequal resources, supportive services, building problems, special education, Medicaid, and free and reduced lunch. Filling exceptional child positions and the supportive services positions, such as speech-language pathologist, has been exceptionally difficult for our district. This is directly affecting our children in real time. These services are non-negotiable. They are legally obligated. Try as the district may, you cannot pour from an empty cup. As voiced in previous ABSS school board meetings, a lack of adequate funding is directly affecting students and staff. In my own personal experience, I watched our teachers pour themselves over and over and over again into these kiddos. And my kiddos were the absolute best part of my job. So while I'm not in the classroom anymore, I feel that we need to do better. We need to do better by them. We need to do better by exceptional child. And we need to do better by instructional services. So I'm asking that you guys keep this in mind, specifically when talking to our county commissioners. because these are our most vulnerable kiddos. I had students that wanted to be president, that wanted to be politicians, that wanted to be police officers and nurses and doctors. Those are our kids. Those are our future. They're going to be taking care of us. So if we want good people that can take care of us, then we need to take care of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on.
And our last speaker is Siobhan Vai. That's not me this time. That's John.
So it's the speakers going.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, my name's Siobhan Va, and I'm a special education teacher, general ed, with an ABSS. I'm also a product of ABSS as an exceptional child, and I have 4 exceptionals myself. Right now, we're facing a high number of EC vacancies across our schools. These vacancies directly impact the level of support we can provide our students. With fewer staff members, caseloads continue to grow, and service time begin increasingly difficult to meet with fidelity. Each student we serve has an IEP designed specifically for unique needs. No 2 students are the same. Because of this, one student alone cannot adequately meet the wide range of academic, behavior, medical, and emotional needs within a growing caseload. To provide required services, students are often removed from their peers for targeted small group instructions. When those small groups begin to look like more of a general education classroom due to staffing shortages, we no longer are providing the level of individualized support or student needs that they deserve. We are doing everything we can with what we have, but the reality is the current structure is not sustainable. Hiring additional staff, whether certified teachers or teaching assistants, is critical. And our students do not fit into minimum staffing formulas. And our student supports shouldn't either. Exceptional children staff wear many hats. We are teachers, case managers, behavior specialists, and at times caregivers. We manage documentation, IEP, compliance, progress monitoring, family communication, and daily instruction, all while supporting our students with significant and diverse needs. Because of these, providing an additional supplement for all EC staff is not just appreciated, it is a necessity. Each staff deserves recognition, support, and respect for extra responsibilities we carry and the additional hours we consistently give. This supplement would not only help recruit and retain high-qualified educators, ensuring our students receive the consistent, specialized support they need to succeed. But without adequate staffing and support, we are stretched beyond capacity. And when that happens, it impacts not only the educators, but most importantly, the students we are committed to serving. Our students deserve individualized support that truly meets their needs. Our staff deserve the resources and recognition necessary to do their jobs effectively. Simply put, staff and students deserve better. And doing the minimum will never meet the maximum needs of our students. Thank you for your time and consideration and your commitment to doing what is right for our students.
Thank you. That is the end of our public speakers for our budget hearing. I believe at this time, if there's nothing else from the board or board members, we will entertain a motion to adjourn the budget hearing.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Thank you, Mr. Engel. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. We are adjourned from our public budget hearing. Board members, do you need a break or do you want to move right into our business meeting?
Maybe 1 minute if people aren't staying for both meetings.
Okay, we're going to take a 4-minute recess.
That means I need to run.
So 4 minutes.
4 minutes, I'll make it.
Good evening. On behalf of my board colleagues, I call to order our regularly scheduled evening board meeting. Today is Monday, March 23rd. Again, welcome to those joining us here in the auditorium as well as those watching online. Special welcome to ABSS staff, students, and families. We have Commissioner Thompson, Commissioner Priola, and Commissioner Powell with us this evening. Thank you all for being here. And as always, our friends from the media. Warm welcome to Jason Weber from Tharrington Smith, who is joining us tonight as legal counsel on behalf of Adam Mitchell, who is traveling. And as you saw earlier, Dr. Hall is unavailable to join us this evening. Board members, I will ask Vice Chair Dan Engel to lead us in a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Board members, you've had an opportunity to review the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. You've had the opportunity to review the minutes for 2 February board meetings. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Parker?
Were we going to remove item 1? I'd like to discuss the MGT Solutions contract separately.
Stand by. Let's finish our motion for the minutes, and then we'll revisit the agenda.
It's minutes. I'm so sorry.
No
Should have an
problem.
extra cup of
No
coffee.
problem. Was there a second for the agenda motion? I mean, the minute motion? Is that?
Yes, I second.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Board members, Mr. Weber, we're going to revisit our motion to approve the agenda, if we may.
There could just be another member to make a motion to amend the agenda to, sounds like to remove an item from consent and place it under discussion and action. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Proceed just like any other motion with a motion and then a second and then a vote.
A motion to amend the consent agenda, the agenda and the consent agenda. And item A, I would like to take item A out of the consent agenda for discussion.
Okay, we'll move that to H1 under curriculum.
Yeah.
And that's the MGT contract.
Yes.
All right.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Dr. Parker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously on that amended agenda. All righty. At this time, there are 5 items on our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the amended consent agenda?
Motion to approve the amended consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We will now move into Board of Education business. I have 2 really quick items that came in on Thursday after we had completed our agenda. One is an email that all of the board members got from the North Carolina School Boards Association from Bruce Mildorf in regards to the resolution asking our state leaders to pass a budget. Have wanted to bring that up to see if that's something that the board wants to discuss at this meeting and if there's any support for that resolution.
I looked over that resolution. I'm totally in support of the resolution because we do need for them to do their part and pass a state budget. I think one of our speakers spoke on the state budget and said we're sitting now around 266 days without a state budget. We're the only state in the United States without a state budget also. So, I know we have an obligation to put forth a budget. I feel like our state should also follow that obligation to put forth a budget too.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other comments, questions? I think Avery might be thinking.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Rogers. I mean, you can't run a normal business without having a budget. So I do ask our leaders to get this budget process, get it done quickly, because it matters. It matters, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. I will just say that I am in full support of the language of the resolution and the intent of the resolution, but I've always stood firm, just for my individual board member, that my belief is a resolution is a political statement, and we're a nonpartisan board. So I'm not in favor of a resolution. In full disclosure, I am on the state board of directors for the School Boards Association, and I did vote affirmative when we passed it at the state level, but that's because we do have boards in the state that are partisan. But I would not support, doesn't mean that we can't still vote on it. Just know that that's the reason I would vote against doing that resolution. I do feel like that we should engage our leaders at the state level, but I feel like we need to engage them with open and direct conversation rather than make a resolution. But that is totally up to this board. Did you have something you wanted to add, Mr. Engel?
Yes, if I may. Thank you, Madam Chair. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, I've had 3 people tell me today, and this is not a political statement because the person I'm talking about is the same party as me. There's one person in the state of North Carolina that's holding this budget up, and that's all I'll say. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board in regards to the resolution? Is there any action that the board wants to take in regards to the resolution at this time?
I'm not sure it needs to be a formal action part of the board.
Okay. I don't disagree with Mr. Wagner. I would encourage the board, if we're not going to take formal action on the resolution, that we certainly reach out to our state leaders and share the resolution with them. In the past, if we've been presented with a resolution, I've always shared it with the Board of Commissioners or the state leaders, whoever that intended party is, to let them know that there is a desire to get that message to them. So hearing no further information from the board, we're going to move forward with no action at this time. All right, the second piece of business I had, we also received Thursday afternoon. It is for the North Carolina School Boards Action Center. It is an annual contribution request that we get on an annual basis to make a contribution to the political action team at the state level. Tony, Dr. Fleming, Mr. Messer and Dr. Fleming received the same email, so if I'm butchering this, please help me. My understanding from Mr. Messer is we have not participated. He went back at least 10 years and we have not participated with that. I personally think that the work that they do is important, but I don't feel like that as a board we're in a financially solvent position to entertain that type of request at this time. Again, I'm only one of 7 and we're all equals, so I will entertain any motions or action that the board would like to consider.
I'd like to support it. I mean, I'd like to also agree not to support it because we've got enough budget issues to worry about. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Any other questions or comments?
I'll agree not to support as well.
Okay. There's no desire to support the contribution at this time, is what it sounds like. Okay. Those are the only 2 pieces of board business that I have. Mr. Weber, is that acceptable? We don't need any kind of formal, there were no motions made, so we can move forward.
Right, there's no
Correct.
action happening, so no motions needed.
All right, thank you. All right, let me get back to my agenda. I believe up next we have recognitions. And at this time, I will welcome Emily Lynn Atkins, our Chief Communications Officer, and Board Member Tamika Harvey for special recognitions this evening.
Good evening, Chair Ellington Graves, Dr. Fleming, members of the board. It's wonderful to see everyone. Tonight, we are proud to recognize the Cummings High School Women's Indoor Track Team. They are the 2026 North Carolina High School Athletic Association 4A state champions. The Cummings Lady Cavaliers track and field team captured the newly aligned NCHSAA, I always trip over those initials, 4A Indoor State Championship, adding yet another chapter to the most decorated, I'll say it, dynasty in North Carolina high school athletics. All competing athletes scored, and the Lady Cavaliers won every event they entered except for 2. In 3 events, the 55-meter hurdles, the long jump, and the triple jump, Cummings swept first, second, and third, a display of depth unmatched anywhere else in the state.
They added a 4th place finish in the 4x200 relay to seal the team title. And the sportsmanship award went to Honesty Trollinger, and state championship MVP was Deanna Cotton for the 5th consecutive state championship. Cummings girls have now won 13 indoor and 32 overall North Carolina state championships in the past 39 years, with titles in every NCHSAA classification. So if you'll remember last year we recognized them, they were 1A, 2A. This year they're 4A, so they can do it all. And by their side have been Coach Davis and Coach Love, who have worked diligently to develop these championship athletes. So congratulations to the entire Cummings team and coaches for their achievements, hard work, and for continuing a proud tradition of excellence. Come on up, ladies.
Come on up.
I know we have some proud coaches, proud principal, proud family members.
Mr. Thomas, you gotta come up here. We're gonna let you get a picture. First of all, congratulations to you guys on another championship. Congratulations, Coach Davis, on all of the championships. And this ain't for me. I gotta give that to you. Let me get it to you. You guys are doing great things over there. I'm exceptionally proud today because, of course, I'm the parent of one of these great students up here. So I would say, how do you do it? But you guys continue to do it every year. And just like Emily Lynn said, on every classification, it doesn't matter if it's 1A or it's 4A, you guys go out there and you do what you do and you come back home with the championship every time. It's amazing. Super proud of each and every one of you and all that you do. And I know Coach Davis has some words. I'm just going to give him the mic.
39 years. That's a long time. And you know, when I look around, I see products of this program. See, we have a board member who, Seneca was on our first boys state championship team. Shania Pulliam was on. You know, but that's back in the old days. Okay. 39 years, I can truly say that this is one of the best groups that we've had. And not only are they good athletes, they're top students also. We have, they're just tight. When something is not going right for one, somebody else always steps up. We've had some have to deal with injuries, had some have to deal with unforeseen or situations that they couldn't control. But at the end of the day, found a way to get it done. We have freshmen. We have Leah and Kennedy. You know, they're just getting the taste of it. We have one sophomore. She's already a state champion. She's really faster than her mama was. Her mama actually set the overall state record in the hurdles. She ran faster at the state meet, getting second place than her mama got when she set the record. We have CJ. CJ is our video guy. You know, he films our practices, track meets, and all. So, Fruity, you see what happened to her. She got, you know, for 3 years, she was on my relay team. She qualified for the state in the high jump, and now her senior year. Okay, but you know, but the fact of the matter is she's still a part of it because she does the same thing. She videotapes for us. She's the motivator for everybody else. So it's a team effort. Honesty is a junior. Well, let me go in this order. Nazea is a junior. This is her second year on the team. She continues to improve. She was on our 4x2 relay that finished fourth, and fourth place at the state championship is all state. Also, Leah was on the 4x2, and Honesty was our fourth best hurdler on the team. Our third best was slow-mo. And the reason I call it slow-mo because she does everything slow. But that's Diamond Moore. And Diamond had an injury, so Honesty stepped in, and Honesty finished third in the state. As a substitute, she finished third. So the only people, she would have been first if it hadn't been for her teammates. If her teammates hadn't finished first and second, she would have been state champion. But Honesty is a junior, and she's already getting scholarship attention. Diamond, a lot of you know Diamond's story and what she went through her sophomore year. But she never gave up. We never gave up on her. Now, man, I'm going to lose a lot of points. I'm going to lose a lot of points. But Diamond is a multiple state champion individually as well as the relay. I don't think there has been a quieter, more productive individual on our team, and that's how you see her. That's how she is in real life. On top of that, of course, we won the state championship, but we were at the Nationals this past week. We were at the Nationals in Virginia for 4 days, and Diamond finished fifth in the long jump at the Adidas Indoor National. But not only that, Kylie finished seventh in the long jump. Not only that, Deanna Cotton. And everybody says, "Oh yeah," but by right. As a freshman, she set the freshman state record in the high jump. As a sophomore, she set the sophomore state record in the triple jump. As a junior, she set the junior state record in the long jump. Now, I don't know if you know anything about track and field, but those are entirely 3 different events. And at every class level, she is the best that's ever come through North Carolina. But as much as that is said, she has won 20 individual state championships. I mean, 20. There's one other person that we're trying to get. We got one person that we're trying to get, and she's got 23. And that was 30 years ago. And that was my daughter. so my daughter won 23. So she has the opportunity to win 24, and that's what we're shooting for. But if you're talking about a true team athlete, as you can see, we never have more than 5 or 6 athletes, and most of the time we're going up with teams that's got 30, sometimes 40 athletes. But what they do is we multiply. Okay, everybody is set to do 4 events, not 1 but 4, and that's what they're conditioned to do. At the state meet, she literally was doing the long jump, high jump, and the hurdles at the same time. And all she was doing is going back and forth and changing shoes from one to the other. And doing it at a high level because she won all of them. But she's probably got the state record also in official visits to schools because she was on tour. She had I think 8 official visits. And So, every weekend she was going somewhere and trying to decide what opportunities she was going to take. We have averaged a scholarship and a half a year for 39 years. So that's what we do better than anything else, is that they earn scholarship. She's going to the University of South Carolina. Diamond is going to Jacksonville State University. So those are two seniors. And Fruity's the top 10 student. So she's going to UNC Charlotte academically. So that's a big loss. That's a big loss to our team. But they put the pressure on everybody else to keep it going, because we do a lot, and we do a lot of soul searching as to what's important in life, and the number one thing is that education, and a scholarship is just a good part-time job to help you fund that education. So we've gotten Diamond's number of 66? You were 65 or 66. I think you were 65, 66. 66 scholarships in 39 years. Now somebody top that. Somebody top that. But we're not done yet, because we have to get rid of those two. We got those three. We got to get rid of those three, and then we have to bring some more along. But for every right, there's a responsibility, and we hold them accountable to keep the tradition going. Coach Cherry Penix over there, hey, that's one of our most important people, because he's the one that keeps everything going. And then Sasha Scott, she keeps the team fed, and she keeps us going down the road. That's the main. She keeps us going down the road. And so I couldn't be any more proud of this team. Proud of this team. I hate to lose them, but they gotta go. They gotta go. And it's gonna be hard, but they gotta go. And we have one outdoor season left with them, and we're gonna enjoy it. But if you want to see some good track, if you want to see somebody operate the way you want to see it, you need to come and watch them. That's right. Because when they go to work, they go to work. And we're actually having an invitation at Cummins on Saturday, and so far I have 25 schools. 25 schools coming. I think we have all the Alamance County schools except for 2 that's already registered. But if you really want to see a professional team operate, you need to watch them, because it's worth it. And I thank you, and I think that maybe one more time before they leave, we'll get a chance to bring them up here and you can see them again.
We'd love that.
All right.
Before they sit down, I know we have some parents. If you guys could come up here too and jump in the pictures.
James, where would you?
And Mr. Thomas, while they're coming, would you like to say
this? Can y'all scoot to this side of the podium? May have to go in layers.
While we're getting ready for the picture, one of the things that as a principal I appreciate is we talk about student athletes being students first, and they truly embody that. From Coach Davis, Coach Penix, Dr. Scott, all of our parents, we really appreciate all of your support from our community. Board members, Dr. Fleming, and everyone invited here today, thank you so much for your support, because it means a lot to us. Just keep them encouraged, and I say this all the time, I'm a proud principal, and it's because of y'all. So thank you so much for all your hard work, and we truly love you guys, and we appreciate you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
You got the little one looking.
Thank you guys so much.
I asked some of the ladies if they enjoyed that budget hearing. They said they learned a lot and they want to see what happens next. I said, well, stay tuned. Thank you all. I have some gift bags. All right, next up. So we were, recognizing some excellence in athletics. Now we're going to recognize some excellence in our educators. So tonight we're proud to recognize a group of exceptional educators who have achieved one of the highest honors in the education profession, National Board Certification. This is a rigorous performance-based process that takes 1 to 3 years, and I did not say months, that was 1 to 3 years to complete, and requires teachers and counselors to deeply reflect on their practice, demonstrate their impact on student learning, and meet the highest standards in the field of education. Earning this certification is a testament to their dedication, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to excellence in our schools. It's not only a personal achievement, but a powerful investment in our students, their schools, and our entire district. So this year we had 4 staff members who earned their certification for the first time, and 3 staff members who were able to renew their certification. Elizabeth Daniely, Meredith Eubank, and Liza Palazzi all earned it for the first time, along with Kelsey Poe, if you'll come on up. She's one of our she's autism and behavior specialist with the EC department. And then our renewals were Jennifer Keefe, Kristen Rosario, and Andrea Rumley, who is an 8th grade ELA and social studies teacher at Western Middle. Come on up.
Come on up.
So please join us in congratulating these outstanding educators for reaching this incredible milestone, and their accomplishment reflects the very best of our profession and inspires us all. So thank you both so much.
Thank you guys so much.
And I believe they both have some supporters in the crowd as well.
Absolutely. And while your supporters are coming up, would you like to have something to say? You didn't write it down, okay?
No,
It's
I
okay.
didn't.
How about you?
Just thank you to all of y'all are coming up. Okay, this is a surprise.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Never too many for a picture.
Yep.
Come on up here.
Yep.
Oh, you want to get over
Filling the gap naturally.
Yep. Professionals.
Thank you guys so much.
Yep. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you and congratulations to all those that we recognize this evening on behalf of the board. At this time, we will move into our public comments for our regularly scheduled meeting. We have 5 speakers signed up. I will quickly review our public comments policy at section 2310 titled Public Participation at Board Meetings, and you can find the full policy online. Per policy, individuals who have signed up may speak for up to 3 minutes. The timer will chime after exactly 3 minutes, and we do ask that you plan accordingly and respect any additional directions given. Profanity, making threats, or revealing confidential student or personnel information will not be allowed. To our speakers, please be sure to address the members of the board with your comments and not the audience. To board members, please remember we do not respond to speakers except to request clarification of points made by the presenter. To members of the audience, we ask that you refrain from clapping, snapping, or vocalizing at any time during public comments. And tonight, as I said, we have 5 speakers. When your name is called, please make your way to the podium and state your full name before beginning your comments. And our first speaker tonight is Ed Priola.
Good evening, everybody. Good to be here. I am Ed Priola from Mebane. I serve on the Alamance County Board of Commissioners, and I'm also an educator. I've been an educator for 15 years, and I served as a substitute teacher for all 5 of the existing brick and mortar schools at the time that I was a substitute, for about a total of somewhere between 40 and 50 full days as a substitute. So I'm invested in education. At your February meeting, you discussed grade level performance, comparing fall semester 2025 to 2024 fall semesters, giving the appearance of some academic improvement. But meaningful results require more than a brief uptick. A different picture emerges when looking at the long-term trends of the Department of Public Instruction data. Biology, for example, fall 2025 proficiency was 4 to 5 percentage points lower than in the 3 prior years at ABSS, and in 3 prior years at ABSS, not the 3 prior. In English 2, fall 2025 proficiency was 1 to 3 points lower than in 3 years prior at ABSS. More striking is the proportion of students not performing at grade level. And this is important because if you got to know where you're going if you want to get there. When you have 55% of the students in biology not performing at the standard minimal level, when you have 50%, 1 out of 2 not performing in English 2, and 47% not performing in math 1, it's pretty darn hard to sugarcoat those numbers. And we've got to be straight to the point. Neighboring district comparisons underscore this point as well. Our supposed best fall 2025 result in Math 3 was 16 percentage points lower than in some of the high-performing neighborhood districts. 3 patterns emerge from this. Far too many students remain below minimal grade level. Recent gains do not match prior ABSS performance, and ABSS continues to lag behind our peer districts. I believe we ought to have a little less self-praise and more meaningful, transparent reporting that allows us to track actual performance and academic standards at ABSS, which brings me to the 697,000 proposal tonight before you all. Glad to hear you're going to discuss it. MGT Consulting has raised some questions in my mind, looking up and looking at their record. Are they in fact were the same group that was sued by a Colorado school district for mismanaging taxpayer money to funds, failing to improve academic procedures over 4 years performance? Were they the same group that $1.5 million was awarded?
I'm sorry,
by
Mr.
the-
Prioli, your 3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Our second speaker tonight is Medora Burke-Skoll.
Gosh, I wonder what the neighboring districts have that we don't. Good evening, folks. I stand before you tonight as the president of the Alamance Burlington Association of Educators, and I stand before you as a believer in the dream of public schools. I stand before you ready to fight the enemies of public education, the privatizers, the pro-voucher, pro-wealthy elitist, profits over children doubters. And I will fight those enemies with every last breath in my body because I believe in the promise of our public schools. I believe in our kids over corporations. As president of our Public School Employees Union, I was able to walk the halls of not only my school at Eastern Alamance, but also Woodlawn, Cummings, and Southeast Alamance this month. I saw an entire wall in the lobby of Cummings papered with college acceptance letters because some of the best and brightest kiddos in our county have been accepted to institutions, competitive institutions of higher learning. This weekend, I joined EA students at the prestigious NC State Science and Engineering Fair, where less than 100 projects from across the whole state were recognized for their outstanding work as young scientists. Next month, I get to travel with Miss Dixon's Woodlawn Science Olympiad team to the state tournament after our scrappy little Title I public school beat out a whole slew of private and charter schools at the regional tournament. Our art students are nationally recognized. Our student athletes are powerhouses both on the fields and in the academic classrooms. So I ask you tonight, listen carefully to those who position themselves as enemies of our public schools. Question their motivation. Ask yourself, who stands to gain by underfunding our public schools? Who wins when we strategically bash our ABSS public schools and in the same breath vote to create insufficient budgets, then turn around and yell loudly, failure, failure? Those choices aren't accidental. They want our public schools and the promise to provide all children from all walks of life an opportunity to fail. Ask yourself, who gains when we destroy the system our students need to rise up? Our students need to change societal and economic norms and to ultimately change the world. Who benefits by dismantling our public schools? We will need to work together to claw back our democracy from these privatizers, these doubters. We need to stand together and say with one voice that we stand for our kids. We stand for our communities. We stand for the promise of public schools. We stand for kids before profits and before corporations. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Our third speaker is Sean Ewing.
Good evening again, board and chair. My name is Sean Ewing, and I'm here tonight as a neighbor and elected official who understands the difficult tasks you have in front of you for rezoning and redistricting. We all see the reality of growth in our district. Some of our schools are bursting at the seams while others have room to grow. We know that to give every student a fair shot and a manageable classroom size, redistricting, rezoning isn't just an option, it's a necessity. We have to balance the numbers for the sake of our kids and our teachers. But as we move forward with these maps, I'm asking the board to deeply consider the support systems that live inside these buildings, our PTOs, our PTAs. Our parent organizations are the quiet engine of this district. They provide the extra technology, the extra classroom supplies, and the teacher appreciation that keeps morale high. However, as we rezone, we have unique opportunities to do more than just students, move students around. We have an opportunity to bridge the gap in other schools. As we grow as an Alamance school community, I'd love to see us create a structure where well-established, well-resourced PTOs can mentor and help out other schools. Redistricting is a math problem, but our response can be human. I urge the board to think about how we can facilitate these connections. Let's ensure that as we balance the desks and the hallways, we are also fostering a culture where our parent leaders also support schools in not only their district, but others, and not just their own. Let's make sure that no matter where the lines fall, every child in Alamance County walks into a school community that is backed by a strong, supportive network of families. Thank you all for your time and the hard work you do in our community. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our fourth speaker this evening is Jeff Thronberg.
Good evening. First of all, thank y'all for serving our community and our kids. Really appreciate that. And congratulations on the grant you got with the highest score. So that was be great if that could be put out. So congratulations on that. So I'm a parent of a graduate of Graham High School. I have a young son that's in Southern as a sophomore, and you may have heard me or may not. I coached at Graham High School for 8 years. So I'm going to give you data that you already know, and then you'll see where the numbers go. Right. So we're the 15th largest school in the state, with over 22,000 kids, but yet with 57 certified teachers, 35 sport teachers, 20 bus drivers short. Right, so we got kids that are getting home 6:30 at night. We got to do better than that, but how do we do better? So let's talk about our county. We're the 15th largest, the 13th fastest growing, but the 26th lowest tax rate. Those numbers don't work. So we're asking our county and we're asking our schools to run on a shoestring budget, but yet we expect exceptional results when we're constantly losing teachers. We have to invest in our kids and our school system. Now, why aren't we doing that? Why are people criticizing the school? I think it's a diversionary tactic. Why? Because we can't balance our budget without pulling out our reserves. If you can't do that, how are you going to fund your schools? How are you going to fund your public safety? So 30% of our expenditures goes to schools, 26, 27% to public safety. Those are the two most important. But we're the 26th lowest tax rate. I heard people up here today talking, and I hope they all go to the commissioners meeting, right? We have to make our voice heard. We also have to support our children. I support you. I support the school system. But I gotta tell you, we had a young man at the commissioners meeting, Mr. Sawyer Jones. And if you on the school board, you should have been there. You should have been there letting that kid know you had his back, right? Because that is what good leaders do. Not only with our students, but with our teachers. So we know the school system has issues, okay? But you're making progress, you're making a lot of progress. And I support Dr. Fleming. I did not support the last superintendent sat here, right? It caused a lot of division. But I want to thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service and keep fighting for our kids.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our last speaker this evening is Coach LaVon Barnes. LaVon Barnes.
Good evening. It's everybody's favorite time of the year, pollen season, of course. My name is Coach LaVon Barnes, Mebane. Normally I have it written down. I did have some things written down, but I'm a little incensed from previous speakers. So I just want to start off by saying I live in Mebane. I am in my 23rd year in education and a leader in this state when it comes to public education in North Carolina. So I begin by saying I don't blame you. I blame some of you, but I don't blame you. Because in a perfect world, we would love to keep politics out of education, but unfortunately, education is always going to be political. I don't blame you for the fact that I know you're working your hardest for our kids in the future. I don't blame you for the fact that you have to listen to some of your other leaders calling out kids functionally illiterate. Well, maybe I blame you for not standing up publicly and calling that out and saying that's nonsense. I don't blame you for the fact that y'all are working on a shoestring budget year after year. I don't even blame you for the fact that, to be honest, you should be blaming the folks who are in the positions of power. We have 3 state legislators who have shown you their cards. You have 4 out of the 5 county commissioners who have shown you their cards. When are y'all just gonna be pissed off and say, enough is enough, call it out for what it is? You're not gonna get what you want. I hate the fact that you're asking for $1 million less than you asked for last year. You really, at this point, should be asking for the full allotment of what you want, because you already know that they're gonna say no. And that's unfortunate, because their lack of empathy, their lack of humanity, their lack of understanding that it's not them that's most affected, but it's the generations that are coming behind them based on their decisions that's most affected, that they just don't see that. It's y'all's job to see that. Yes, we're nonpartisan, and Vice Chair Engel said it. He's saying there's one person in his party that's holding it up. I'm sorry to tell you, you have more than one person in your party that's holding this train up. And you got about 5 of them here, or really like 7 of them here in this county that's truly holding this train up. It's not your fault, Chair Graves, that when you, Ellington Graves, I'm sorry. It's not your fault that when you ask Representative Riddell, what's your focus for public education, that his answers were reading comprehension, manners, and then he forgot the other thing. That's not your fault. He didn't answer your question because he doesn't have an answer. And that's a problem, because regardless of party, we want our leaders to have answers, because when we're at our lowest, we should look to you, and we look to you for the responsibility of coming up with those answers. So thank y'all for y'all's time.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. That closes our public comment portion of the meeting. Yes, Mr. Engel?
I'd like to speak on what Mr. Priolo said, Commissioner Priolo said, if I may.
As a point of clarification?
Yes, as a point of clarification.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Priolo stated the criteria for the earlier the 25 test scores, but he didn't talk about, he brought up the February meeting, folks, in his conversation, but he didn't bring out what Dr. McWhirter said were the midterm test scores for biology, for English 2 and for math. Sir, let me give those to you so you'll know. This is just going back. Biology had a 7.64% increase in this county, the county high schools. English 2 was 7.60% increase overall, and Math 1, get this, 17.66% increase. So I know you didn't have the opportunity to come to the meeting, so I wanted to make sure you knew that. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. All right, we will move on through our agenda. At this time, I will welcome Dr. Fleming to the podium, or I guess from your seat, to open the conversation about the rezoning solutions.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. I'm happy to announce that we're at least probably maybe halfway, a little more than halfway finished with this rezoning project. I don't know if we have any representatives from school camp here. Oh, we do. Where are they? Oh, they're right here. I didn't even see them walking. Okay, sorry. That's what I was saying. I don't see them anywhere. Well, great. Well, Mr. Matthew Palmer and Mr. Thomas Dudley are here from school camp to answer any questions you have. We will not go through the full presentation again. For those of you that have listened to their presentation, Mr. Palmer has it memorized, I believe, and we've heard it a number of times, but I know probably just from some of the individual questions you've asked me, you may have some questions of more the process when it comes to transfers and all that, but or staying at your home school, and I think I have some answers to those questions. But I say all that because I do appreciate all the work that our communications folks again have done, our operations folks, really every department has had a hand in our rezoning. I think with as many redistricting type projects that I've been through, this has been the largest, but also it's been probably the smoothest as well. And I think that's because of the work from school camp. And I know they're not done. We're still getting the maps ready and the list ready and all. Hopefully by couple weeks after we get back from spring break, we'll have the letters going out with those that this affects, and those parents will be notified before May. But I want to take just a moment, Mr. Hook or our friends from school camp, if there's anything I'm missing. If not, happy to take any questions from the board. We are asking for your approval this evening of the rezoning recommendation.
Questions or comments from board members? Yes, Mr. Rogers.
So I just have a couple of questions. Might be for y'all gentlemen with school camp or Dr. Fleming, whichever one of y'all want to step in and answer. So my first question is, with both scenarios, with scenario 1 and scenario 2, does this also mean, because I think it came up in a previous conversation, that students will be hopefully out of the mobile units at our schools?
That is very much the intent of the proposal. What you see is our capacities. We have reviewed the exceptional child and pre-kindergarten placements. Whenever and wherever possible, it is intended to retire mobile uses at facilities. So we're using the program capacity numbers, which are reflective of the brick and mortar capacities of the schools.
All right, thank you. And another question is around the bus routes, because of the fact that they were very important things that we heard from the community. I think probably some of our feedback as the board is around the bus routes and not having like a student basically bypass a school that they could be going to. So in your process, how did y'all evaluate the bus routes when you came up with these scenarios that you came up with?
Indeed, and within the boundaries that have been recommended or shared with the administration, which is before you this evening, for both scenarios at elementary as well as at middle school, we've used not only the absolute number of students within relationship to the capacities of the schools, we also have looked at proximity of students to the assigned facilities from their home address for all ABSS students. And then in addition to that, the board and administration, we've worked to ensure that we're avoiding what's called satelliting. So there are not pockets of school boundaries that are detached from the main school boundary itself. So that will avoid students having to go by multiple schools in order to fill an empty seat. One of the things that in the boundary recommendations that are there, looking at not just one school to another, but really a systems level approach for the entire district so that we can avoid any students riding by multiple schools just to find an open seat.
Okay. And then I know that the focus around this one was really at our elementary level and then with like Southern Middle because of where their capacity numbers were. I know a lot of parents have said they're glad that nothing was touched with the high schools, but is the reason why the high schools were not included was it due to non-capacity issues, or is this something I guess possibly in our future we might have to deal with?
Indeed. So the recommendation or the series of scenarios here have looked at instances where enrollment and capacity have peaked at certain schools, particularly at elementary, as well as the acute case at Southern Alamance Middle School. In instances where there were not capacity and enrollment issues at the high school levels, there's sufficient room for the next 4 to 5 years. It will put the board and the administration into a cadence to review that as you look at the long-range facility master plan. So as you look at those in the long term, the need for additional seats, it'll afford an opportunity to revisit the high school boundaries at that time. But for now, with the recommendations we've brought forth, there are no adjustments to the high school levels.
Okay. And I think just my last question is because I think Mr. Ewan brought this up, talking about the kids transitioning into schools, and this might be something for Dr. Fleming or Emily Lynn, because I know y'all talked about the transition teams. So in that transition process, we do have to always think about the support systems that the students have at their current schools. So I guess with whatever's decided tonight, what would that possible transition process look like for those families and students that are affected through this plan?
So good question. So they will be notified once the board approves, hopefully approves this evening, within the next couple of weeks. ORED or our school camp folks in ORED are working on our list and finalizing the maps. We will then, in essence, mail merge those lists together, and we will notify parents and families that their school zone was affected, and they will receive that in writing. They will have an opportunity, just like anytime, they will have an opportunity to request any transfers at that point. By board policy, you cannot get a transfer approved the first year of a redistricting. They do have the right to appeal, and so they can appeal those or appeal that decision, that administrative decision, to the Board of Education, and then members of the board can or will have the opportunity to sit on an appeal board to hear those appeal cases one by one and make a determination if it's within the bounds of the policy.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. Harvey?
So is that with any type of transfer, like, because there could be different ones, some could be based off of they want to stay at their schools. Some could be that, they're having issues at the school, whatever the case may be. Does that just cover the ground for all transfers for that first year?
That's right. So there are some that receive out-of-district transfers now. Those will remain in place because those were approved. For transfers that are applied for from this, once they get their notification forward or from now forward, will probably be turned down at the administrative level, all of them, but they can be appealed for a board decision to basically reverse the superintendent's decision if needed. We've heard of several different cases of folks pleading their case to us, if you will, but at this point we're inclined to turn them down so that they can be looked at a case-by-case basis, because as your superintendent, I have to go by board policy.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Rogers.
Just sorry. I think this was answered before, but I wanted to ask it again just so everyone had an understanding. So from, I think y'all had stated previously, and maybe Dr. Fleming too, so with no impact to the high schools and stuff, but of course there is high impact at the middle and elementary schools. What does that impact look like to the feeder patterns? Are the feeder patterns up to the high school staying the same as what they would be? Or is that any change to those feeder patterns?
So I want to be clear, there are no recommended adjustments for high school boundaries. And the middle school levels, we've looked at 3 schools. That's Southern, Graham, and
Broadview.
You'll have to give me.
Broadview.
Thank you. At the elementary school level, the boundary adjustments there, and this has been a point of clarification, knowing the legacy of aligned feeder and patterns at the elementary, middle, high school level. This does disrupt some of those feeder patterns at the elementary school level, but it does not. There again, the full review for elementary, middle, and high school feeder patterns would need to be reviewed once you know the additional capacities that will be coming online for your facilities in the years ahead. So there are instances where you have a change in elementary school boundary, but it does not change middle or high school boundary. Yeah.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other questions or comments, Mr. Engel?
Dr. Fleming, didn't staff recommend scenario 1?
Yeah, I left that out earlier. Our recommendation is scenario 1 of the redistricting plan.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board members for Mr. Palmer or Dr. Fleming? I think Charles's mind might be.
I think I had all my questions answered over the several meetings that we've had with school camp. I just like to say that I feel like the redistricting has gone very smoothly. I appreciate the clarity of the process that Snow Camp used, the input from various stakeholders, the board, the community, and I think we have a couple good options, and of course option 1 being the staff recommendation. So it's been good working with you, and yes, thanks for your help. I understand the maps aren't completely drawn, so this might be premature, but I don't expect any last-minute problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Any other board comments, suggestions, questions, motions?
Motion.
Yes, yes, Mr. Engel.
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we approve scenario number 1 for our redistricting.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor with a second to approve elementary school scenario 1, and then of course the middle school map that was proposed as well. Any questions, comments, or further discussion? All right, hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you for your work and your efforts.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Thank you to cabinet and staff for their work on this. We look forward to supporting the families that are impacted with the rezoning, and look forward to continue our work with school camp. All righty. At this time, I will invite Mr. Messer, Mr. Hook, and or Dr. Fleming to lead us in our finance budget proposal conversation.
Well, Madam Chair, members of the board, you heard earlier some comments from the public for you to consider while we work on or conclude our local current expense and capital expense budget request to the county commissioners. If this is approved this evening, this budget will be forwarded to the county manager in just the next coming days, completing our requirement that we're required by statute to get to complete a budget request and to get that to the county commissioners by a statutory mandated time in May. We're getting it to them in a month early, more than a month early, and so we are wanted to make sure we worked with them on that, so to match a little bit closer their budget process as well. So really we'll open it up for questions to Mr. Messer and Mr. Hook, but again, appreciate all of our staff and our cabinet and our finance office, communications office, and everyone working together and getting this big project out of the way for this year.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. On behalf of the board, thank you to Mr. Mester, Mr. Hook, and all those staff, cabinet, all those that contributed. Emily Lynn, the budget book looks great. But thank you all for your efforts. Thank you for those that came tonight and spoke in support of the budget. We appreciate that. Board members, I'll open it up to you for comments or questions for anyone here. And then, of course, entertain any motions if anyone's ready to do so. Yes, Mr. Wagner.
Thank you to the group here. You guys did yeoman's work. All of you did, and it's very clean. Looks great, by the way. And when I look at this budget, there's not a lot of fluff here, guys. No. There's just not. I trust a very talented CFO to tell me that, but I can read a budget as well. For years, we have allowed our school systems our buildings, our facilities to deteriorate. We're doing great work fixing those up. We've already talked about our academics. They are improving. Our budget process has gotten better. So I think this budget's great. It's probably not enough because we owe our teachers, we owe our students, we owe our staff the ability to have safe schools with qualified teachers and enough help in your school systems. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Yes, Mr. Rogers.
One question and then one comment. Question, Mr. Messner, do you have any updates or any new information around the low wealth funding?
Yeah, so in lieu of not having a state budget at the moment, we did receive our planning allotments from the state of North Carolina. We did get a slight increase in our expected low wealth money coming. However, we are going to receive cuts at the state level more than what our increase in the state low wealth funding will be. So we're going to still be in the negative when it comes to state funding next year at this time. Now, of course, that's the worst case scenario that they've given us. So until there's a state budget, I really can't sit here and give you a definite for sure.
All right, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just a comment is, I remember when I first came onto the board, it was appointed back in 2023, and then we started going through that budget process, and whoa, that was a process and stuff. And then thinking about those meetings, those were, as we say sometimes, marathon meetings. And I mean, Dr. Fleming, you were not here. Mr. Messner, you was not here. And I remember having a conversation with our interim superintendent at the time, Dr. Harrison, about what the proposal was at that time. Because, I mean, myself, I'm an ambitious person, and I'm always ambitious on the fact of funding our public education, because like we heard with a lot of the folks here who spoke tonight, investment in our kids is an investment in what your future is going to look like, because those are the people who are going to be sitting in these seats, possibly standing up there like you, Mr. Messner, be a Dr. Fleming, and just be various folks, elected officials, coaches, whatever. So you want to make sure that you're providing them the best opportunity for whatever it's going to look like for their future. And when we were going through that process, I told them, so if we approve this request with the loss of positions and people having to move to different roles, would that allow for, when we do hire a superintendent and get things more rolling in order, will that allow for us an opportunity to start to progress back to where we should be going? And he told me at that time, he was like, I know it's difficult, but this is what needs to be done right now to set things straight, get us back to ground level, and allow for whoever y'all bring forward to be able to work and start to move y'all forward. And so I just wanted to say that, like you said, Dr. Fleming, when you came in here, was a lot of things around what we were doing financially, what was going on financially, what was happening with our facilities. And as a board, we wanted to see more things come out transparently, but also what can we be doing going forward to support our educators, support our students, and support our school system. And I just want to commend you, Mr. Messner, for what you and your team has done with the financial dashboard that is out there and creating that opportunity for people to see our budget, but also to see what money is going in, what money is coming in, and what money gets spent out, and also allowing for those financial statements that gives historical data too. because I think we're maybe one of a few districts, or maybe the only district in the state that has that kind of dashboard for people to go out there and look at. So I think that speaks volumes on where we're trying to progress to. We're not there yet, and it's going to take some time because of the difficulties that were going on in the past and tough decisions that had to be made. But I feel like right now we are going forward. Yes, this request, like I said before, is a less request than what it was previously, but I can understand what y'all worked on as a team to bring forth this request. And in there, I do appreciate the line items, of course, around our certified and classified staff, but around those EC staff, because they are very important to those students and to their population, and we continue to go through those difficulties all the time. Dr. Davis is standing in front of us a lot of times and talks about trying to come up with ways of attracting those SLPs and more people into those services. So I appreciate the effort of adding them in there and listening to folks in our public who feels like those are also important. So I just wanted to make that in a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other comments or questions from board members?
I make a motion to approve the budget request as stated.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Any other discussion?
I think I'd just like to add that I very much appreciate the way that each request was given support in the presentation, and it's very clear we're asking for this for that reason, and that the needs are very clearly enunciated, and in areas where we don't know, because there's uncertainty from state funding or so on, that was discussed clearly and is taken into account. So I think the budget presentation itself was very transparent and very clear, and I would encourage members of the public who have questions about any specific item, please take a look, and if you still have questions, contact the board, or I hate to say email me, but I get a lot of email, but please email me. That's part of why I'm here, and I will get an answer for you. So no other comments.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. All righty, so there is a motion and a second on the floor to approve the budget proposal as presented. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Before we transition to H1 under curriculum, I have a point of clarification for Mr. Weber and Ms. Chandler. There was a question on the previous motion about rezoning. That motion did capture scenario 1 and the middle school map as proposed. Just want to make sure that that's on record.
That's right. It was a motion to approve scenario 1.
Elementary.
Scenario 1
Scenario
also.
one of elementary and the one scenario
For the middle school. We just want to make sure it included both of those maps. There was a question. That it was the full intention of the board, correct? I see unanimous head nods. Okay. Just wanted that point of clarification. Thank you. Thank you all. At this time, I will invite Dr. McWhorter unexpectedly to the podium to discuss the MGT contract that was pulled off of consent. I know you shared with us a lot of the specifics at our work session, but if you'll be kind enough to maybe we'll ask questions for those that want clarification for Dr. McWhorter. And I'm happy to start. One of the questions that I think Dan and I both were going to pose is we were questioning about the funding source and how did this impact our local budget. If you can just clarify that there is no impact on our local expense, that would be preferable.
I can do just that. So the funding is federal CSI funding. It has to be used for school improvement on the designated schools that are identified as CSI. It cannot be used to supplant any current initiatives that we are doing. So for example, if I wanted to buy a curriculum, I can't do that because we buy curriculums for our normal schools. DPI does not want us using the money for personnel. So it really leaves us with two options. We can buy stuff, which we know that doesn't generally drive student improvement, or we can look for essentially external agencies or other ways to build capacity in the staff. So the goal is to essentially provide that, what we hope to be that shot of adrenaline for the schools, give them that support, build that capacity to get them off of the CSI list. So that is one of the things that this company does.
There was some speculation earlier about perhaps some business practices in another state by MGT. I'm sure you're probably not aware of that, but I would like for you to speak about your previous experience that you had in a previous district and those results that you were able to achieve.
So I'll speak to what I know, and I don't know anything about the out-of-state issues. The folks that we're going to be dealing with started as a company called Drive, which was local to our region. It was then bought out by a company called Ed Direction, which I'll say is local to the Southeast states. It was then just recently bought out by MGT, which is a national organization. So the people that we're going to be dealing with and essentially doing that business with are the folks that were part of Drive and part of Ed Direction, which is my experiences. It's also the experiences of the principal at Broadview when she had contracted with them, the principals that I worked with in my previous district that had contracted with them, and all had good success in working with them.
And I know when Ms. Lancaster used them at Broadview several years back, that was the year that we had significant improvement.
That was the year
that was
the year that they exceeded growth. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have questions I have for right now. Anybody else? Mr. Engel?
I was gonna make a motion.
Well, I keep trying to promote you. Sorry.
Good.
So I want to clarify, this was left off by the speaker, but MGT in the previous form of MGT prior to owning the companies, this was actually back I think in 22, 23, was hired by the Colorado State Board of Education to provide management services to an extremely poor functioning school district. They were in that, this is actually back in 21, I think, 2021. After about 3 or 4 years of that contract, they found out that the individuals involved in that private management contract were not providing the services that they should have. Either the school district or the state sued them and settled for around $1 million, a little more than that. So that was prior to MGT getting involved with the company, the local company out of Asheboro, I believe, and also. That was a private management contract for academics, operations, and all of the school district. We're only talking about academics. There's no management consulting going on here.
Thank you for that.
But that was left out. I want to make sure that was left out.
That's okay. I just want to make sure that there's no concerns from the public if the board chooses to move forward. Dr. Parker, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so I'd ask a few questions about how it worked last time, and people can listen to that video, but if it has to be something new and not stuff. So for instance, if we're one-to-one with devices, we couldn't use that to buy some of those devices. Is that essentially the understanding?
Correct. If it's going to be something that the district would normally provide to the school, then you cannot use this money. You can't use the federal funding for that in this example. Got it.
So it's pretty narrow, restricted. It seems like there's a small number of types of things, if that isn't too many words. There are only a few kinds of things we can spend the money on as far as the...
Correct. Like the schools can use the money for tutoring. They can use it for additional summer planning, things of that nature also, which they plan on doing. So,
got it. Thank you.
Mr. Wag, thank you, Dr. Parker.
On that note, I guess we'll see a report where you show us what's funding going in case we get a question from the public. We'll be able to see that.
Yeah, we can share the CSI funding. Yes.
Thank you.
And this is very measurable data. Like this is a very measurable action that we'll be able to.
If we don't see a measurable result, we will not be doing business with them again.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Anything else you want to add? No, that's all. Is there any action? This was on our consent agenda, so it is up for a vote. If there is a desire for the board to take action, happy to entertain any motions.
Motion for approval of the MGT Solutions contract.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Engel. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you, Dr. McWhorter.
Thank you.
All right, we will now welcome Dennis Fry, our Chief Technology Officer, to the podium for our next 2 agenda items.
Bring up the agenda, please. Can you bring up the precis, please? The agenda item. I got it. So good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Fleming. The Technology Department is requesting board approval to lease purchase Apple computers for the next round of elementary students' use. The project will be funded through Alamance County local CIP technology funds, which have already been allocated for the 25-26 fiscal year. We seek approval contingent upon the county's authorization of about a 5-year lease term, 59-month term, which involves a multi-year financial commitment for annual payouts. Detailed cost summaries and formal agreement are attached.
All right, questions or comments from Mr. Fry in regards to the computer purchase or lease purchase? Yes, Mr. Rogers.
So I know we did a pilot around the Apple. Is this basically like an extension from what was found out from that pilot to now go into a lease on these at the elementary level?
Yeah, good question. We have started a pilot at 3 schools, Andrews Elementary, East Lawn Elementary, and Elon. We are at the point of delivery of those devices now. We've already held one initial professional development with ambassador staff, and it's going well enough that I can recommend that we continue this project.
Appreciate that, Mr. Fry. And so what all is the equipment that will be a part of this lease? Are we talking about iPads for the students? What does all the equipment, look like? And then how does support for any maintenance things for the equipment looks also?
So I have on the screen iPads. It's approximately 5,400 iPads, 5,450. And each student would have access to one, and a teacher as well. We want to be able to, when those devices do updates, for that to not interrupt other uses of the network. So we have some Mac Minis there in line number 2. This also involves the ability for teachers to cast their iPads and or any student's work for presentation purposes for the whole classroom. And that is an Apple TV. That is a streaming box device that will allow them to connect either to their existing projector or a monitor. We will be transitioning to monitors smaller than the ones here, but similar to the ones in this boardroom, so that they'll be able to navigate in the classroom and be able to present what they're modeling for their students. We don't need remotes for every one of those iPads. We need a few. So line number 4 is 25 remotes for us to be able to have at the school for being able to do resets on those. And then we have a mobile device management software called Mosel that does several different things. It allows us to control security on the devices from a remote location, to be able to push out requested or purchased apps to those devices. And it will also allow teachers to be able to interact directly with the devices, get whole group attention, be able to push out a link, be able to see what's happening on the student screens while they're in the classroom, and be able to manage as a classroom teacher should be able to do on these devices.
All right, I appreciate you explaining that out, Mr. Fry. And I guess last question is, so with this purchase, if it is approved, this does cover all of our elementary school teachers, students, and classrooms?
It does not. This would be approximately another 8 or 9 schools, and we would come back if, based on that and based on any decisions to make some modifications for this time next year to do the remaining elementary schools.
Thank you.
This is something that we're paying out over 5 years, correct?
Correct. This would be a lease purchase over that time period.
Questions or comments from board members?
Presently, I know middle and high school are Chromebook. Is elementary generally iPad? That's my memory, but it could be Chromebook as well. I don't think.
We have traditionally supported elementary from the district office with Chromebooks. We do have many of our elementary schools that have been using iPads in different classrooms in certain situations, but those have all been traditionally purchased by the school.
Yeah, I understand. One of the questions that I know it's a little bit, I don't want to say vague. My experience in working with Apple products is the total cost of ownership can be lower than comparable, either the same or lower than comparable PC or Chromebook products. And I didn't know if you had seen anything. I've seen various case studies in my personal experience managing some computer labs. And I didn't know if you had thought about that in advance, but if not, it would be great to see that after this larger pilot or partial district pilot is done, just as far as how cost effective it is, whether it seems like we're getting the same benefit as Chromebooks or better at the same price or lower, kind of thing.
I'll be glad to report back on that.
Great. And so the Mac Minis are like, caching servers for updates, basically. Okay, got it. So one per school, essentially? And
yes, one per school.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
All right, and this is, if this is approved tonight, you said 8 or 9 more elementary schools in addition to the 3 that we're already piloting.
Correct.
Okay.
For the 3 piloted, we made an outright purchase.
Okay.
They're not a part of a lease.
Thank you. And the 5-year repayment, Dr. Fleming asked me to make sure and say that that's 0% interest rate. So.
And excuse my tardiness, and work with Apple and Tharrington on getting this to you for tonight. That is what's caused us to be able to get a 0% lease.
Thank you, Mr. Weber, and your colleagues at Tharrington Smith. All right, any other questions or comments for Mr. Fry or Dr. Fleming? Is there any desire for board action this evening?
Motion to approve the lease purchase agreement for Apple computers.
Thank you, Dr. Parker.
If I could just clarify, so one note, since this, due to the term and the dollar amount, this will require county commissioner approval. There's often communication between our office and the county office, or between the district and the county manager to ensure that happens. But I would ask that the specific motion and the action that the board considered tonight be to seek approval or to approve contingent on county commissioner authorization.
And so I'll amend my motion contingent on approval from county commissioners.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Thank you, Mr. Weber. And that resolution to our Board of Commissioner partners is attached to your agenda as well. All right, is there a second to Dr. Parker's motion? Thank you, Mr. Engel. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Fry.
And I do have another item.
Yes, sir.
As well. This is our annual E-rate expenditure. The technology department is seeking board approval for purchase of upgraded network equipment, as well as expenditures for year 2 of our current wide area network spectrum contract. Contract vehicle for the purchased equipment is the NCDPI state master contract listed there. The district will be reimbursed by E-rate and the state for all costs. The summary of costs and state contract are attached to this agenda item. There are no local fund expenditures here.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. Stand by. Which one? In the summary?
Oh, no, you good. Those are the bids are on there. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
thought that was a different attachment.
All right. Any questions or comments for Mr. Fry? Hearing none, is there a desire for the board to take any action this evening?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Fry.
Thank you.
At this time, we will move into board and superintendent comments, and we typically allow Dr. Fleming to kick us off. So we will give him that privilege again this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. Good evening. I hope everyone is enjoying the spring-like weather. It looks like it's going to get a little chillier over the next few days, but I believe spring is right around the corner with the pollen arriving as early as today from when I walked outside earlier. Since our last meeting, and you already know this, but since our last meeting, we've been working to complete many projects such as the rezoning, which was brought to you this evening as well. As our local budget request. We appreciate your support there. I look forward to the Teacher Leadership Academy this week. They will be meeting in Mebane with some of our industry partners. Also this Saturday, we have 2 big events you may like to attend. The ABSS Job Fair will be at the Holly Hill Mall on Saturday at 9 a.m. And the All County Middle and High School Chorus will be at 4 p.m. at Walter Williams High School. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for a family event, so I apologize for missing those 2 activities. But I know they'll love seeing you there if you can make it. Spring break, which I think most of us are looking forward to, is scheduled for April 3 through 9, with April 10 designated as a teacher workday. After spring break becomes, of course, the banquet and awards season. So there'll be no shortage of evening entertainment through the end of the year, because there seems to be something about every night after spring break. Another important date, Legislator in Our Schools Day, is Friday, April 17, and we'll have our legislative delegation, school board members, and even our county commissioners will be visiting, and Emily Lynn will forward more information to you and to them once that schedule is finalized. So we look forward to seeing hopefully all 5 of our county commissioners here, but certainly the 3 that are in the room tonight. Just as a reminder, our next meeting will be our April work session on Wednesday, April 15th at 12:30. And this is the rescheduled date from the original day. And it's also important to remember that's tax day. So you can remember that our next work session will be at 12:30 on tax day, April 15th. That's all I have this evening, and happy to answer any questions from the board.
Any questions from the board members for Dr. Fleming? All right, if not, we will move on. Which board member would like to kick us off? Sounds like you've been voluntold, Mr.
Like I said
Wagner.
last time, I'm gonna stop looking over there. No, I'm already on. I'm online. I'm good. First of all, I want to thank all the presenters coming here tonight, talking to us, and teachers. We appreciate you very much. Thank you for the county commissioners being here. We appreciate your support of what we're trying to do, and I can promise you, as we go through the budgeting process, we try to be good fiduciaries. We understand taking tax dollars from our taxpayers. We don't do that lightly. And this CFO and his team and this board have worked diligently looking at this budget process and doing the best we can with it. We understand results have to happen. We get that. I'm confident those results will come. Are they going to come tomorrow? No, but they'll get there. I'm also very thankful for the talent we have in this county. It seems like every meeting we have a state championship team. And that's amazing. We should celebrate that and be thankful for that. But folks, I can promise you, this Board of Education is here to fight for these students, these teachers, and this staff. Because as many of you said tonight, that is the future. I'm not the future. They are. And how we invest in today matters returns for tomorrow. When you buy Exxon stock at $12, you don't worry about $12. You worry about when it gets to $180. That's what we're doing today. Again, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Mr. Rogers?
Thank everyone for coming out this evening. Happy Women's History Month. Say that out to all the amazing women in my life, the amazing women that I sit on this board with, our amazing women that are in our schools, and also that are on our cabinet here. Happy Women's History Month to you. Thank you to Dr. Fleming and Cabinet for all of your continuous work every day in our district and continuing to fight the good fight for our district and doing the work, and always through the various questions that we probably have for y'all, being very available to answer those questions. Thank you to our school staff, all of our school staff, everybody from our custodians, bus drivers, classroom teachers, TAs, instructional specialists, everyone who has an impact on our students every day. Some people do not understand how it could be someone just as a custodian in our schools that has a positive impact on a student every day in our schools, and they build those relationships also. So thank you to them. I want to thank also our parents and our students. I know, Mr. Thornburg talked about Sawyer. Sawyer was not here tonight, but Sawyer's been out showing great leadership throughout the community. Being here at our board meetings, going to county commissioner meetings, but also the various things I get to see because my nephew is a classmate of Sawyer, so I get to see that over at Williams all the time in the ways that he actually is leading that student body over at Williams also. Congratulations to those who was recognized. I've got to, of course, shout out Cummings, second to none, because I'm a product of Cummings. Like Coach Davis said, I'm a product of the track program. Coach Davis is still a mentor of mine right now. We was just talking last week about various stuff, and I always make the joke with him whenever he's about to speak. Like, hey, everybody just sit back and let Coach Davis have his time because he's done earned it with all them state championships. But also all of the kids who he've opened up space to get a scholarship to further their education. That is also very much important. And everyone who made public comments tonight, everyone who made your public comments, it's very important to be engaged in what is happening in your government because we are sitting in these seats to represent you. So your emails, your public comments, your times of possibly stopping us out in restaurants or at Walmart or whatever, that is important because sitting in this seat is about service. And it is about serving our students, serving our school district, and that is what it truly is about. And you must have a heart of service. If your heart is dealing with something else, then I tell you, sit yourself down and get out the way. And then lastly, I want to talk about the visit that I had at Elon Elementary School last week. Thank you to Principal Hurdle for taking me around. I got to actually, Dr. McWhorter and Dr. Turner, if she's watching this, I got to see some of that work that y'all had talked to us about on taking those assessments, evaluating the assessments of the students and working through those foundation curriculums, those splitting up those various groups and putting them together to help them to grow through their fluency on reading comprehension, and all those various things. I got to see it firsthand. And that is what you get to see when you're actually in our school, building, seeing what our teachers are doing every day, and not just talking about our schools, but actually there with the folks who are doing it every day. And then I'm on the board as a part of my liaison stuff for the school board is with the Alamance Partnership for Children. And the Day of the Child event is going to be coming up soon. That is April the 18th at the partnership. Anyone who wants to attend that event, it is a free family event. Also, anybody who wants to volunteer, please reach out. You can reach out to me and I can connect you up with the folks at the partnership on volunteering for that. It's a great time. It's a fun event. I know me and Commissioner Thompson was out there one year handing out pizza and chips to folks. But it's just a great fun event seeing those families out there and those young kids, because early childhood education is a true foundation of education and the education system. So watching the work that the partnership does has been very valuable to me. And one last thing I want to leave y'all with is talking about leadership and accountability of leadership. Leadership is not about making excuses. Leadership is not about pointing the fingers to someone else. Leadership is about standing on business about who you are and in the role that you are in. And you must take accountability to that every day and not look to somebody else just because you have a platform to try to talk or downgrade anyone else in their roles. Leadership is about working through problems, coming up with solutions, and not just always talking about that we can't do this and y'all are doing all the wrong things. Leadership is truly about standing up and leading in a community, especially in times like this, when we can see so many people who call themselves leaders not truly leading, just taking on a title and thinking that is what leadership is. Like I said, Sawyer Jones, who is one of our students, is a leader. His title is student and student body president, but he is leading without those titles. And people need to take examples from our students because they are watching us, but we possibly need to start watching them more to be true leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Dr. Parker?
Okay, usually I have a grab bag of things. It's kind of what I dreamed about the night before or whatever. But today, I was going to say, in particular, with regard to the budget request, you know, we're public schools and we take everybody. And some of the everybody that we take need EC services. And I feel like as a district, and this is something that I talked about a great deal, we are not doing the right thing for the students because we're understaffed, and we're also not doing the right thing for the staff because we're understaffed. Again, SLPs, I talk to a lot of them, and they're all on the very edge of burning out and saying, I'm done here. Maybe none of that matters to you. Let me try to say this in a slightly different way. Once a student is identified as needing EC services, the Federal Individuals with Disabilities Act Part B and the General Statute 115C, and I wrote it down, Article 9, tells us that we have a certain amount of time to provide the services. And if we do not provide the services, and saying we don't have the staff is not a defense, they have access to a lot of legal recourse that has a very high probability of success. Simple as. And so if it doesn't motivate you, we're paying well below market rate for SLPs. I know, for instance, again, going back to that, they can go somewhere else and have a better working environment and make more money. They're here because they love what they do, but that goes a certain distance and no further. And we're getting to the no further part at this point for a lot of them. So if it doesn't motivate you for the students, you know, the district can be on the hook for a lot of legal liability. We have been able to avoid it in large part because of the great work of Dr. Davis. But to me, if I had to pick one thing out of the budget and put my finger on it and say this is important to me, that's important to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Ms. Harvey?
I never write down what I'm going to say. And as I sit here tonight, as everybody's talking, I begin to just get a little bit emotional. I need everyone to understand that we're not sitting up here because we want to take a seat. We're sitting up here because we care about all 23,000 students that enter these doors each and every day. We're sitting here because we care about the parents. We're sitting here because we care about our community. We're sitting here because we care. We're not sitting here because we want to talk down on our children. We're sitting here because we want to build them up. We want them to be the doctors. We want them to be the lawyers. We want them to come back to this county and be the teachers. We want them to be exactly what they want to be. Shout out to all the EC directors, the EC teachers, the ones who have the hard times and someone don't notice it all the time. I've noticed it. I had a son who had a 504. He graduated in 2024. Somebody a long time ago said he wasn't going to do it, but it happened. I have a nephew who had an IEP. He graduated in 2025. Somebody counted him out, but it was the EC teachers and the EC directors that continued to push. It was the teachers every day that even when they weren't doing their best, they said, hey, don't do that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And they did that. They continued to keep going. We have to build our children up in this county, within this school system. It does not matter if you're a school board leader or you're a county commissioner, your legislator, legislator, that's what we have to do. They are looking up to us to make the best decisions for them, and how dare us talk down on them as if they're nothing and as if they're nobody. They are somebody's, and that's why we are here. So thank you for showing up each and every day. Thank you to our students who show up each and every day. It is not always easy. I know what it's like to decide or to make a decision on whether I want to go to school or whether I want to stay at home or whether I want to hang out with the people. But guess what? They go through those school doors each and every day because they want an education. They want to be somebody. I am here because I care. I care about each and every one of you. I care about whether you ate last night or you didn't. I care about whether you have your lights on or you don't. I care about the fact that you're the older sibling taking care of the younger sibling. I know what that's like. We have got to take off our pretty nice shoes some days, and we got to step inside somebody else's shoes and see what it's like to be them for one day. And if you saw what it was like to be them for one day, you would have a different attitude and a different look on what a real day looks like sometimes for our students. So instead of dragging them through the mud, how about you lend a helping hand sometimes to just say, hey, how can I help you today? Shout out to Cummings and Coach Davis for all the great things that he's doing over there at Cummings. When my daughter started with him, he told her if you're making anything less than a B, you need to be in tutoring because education matters. Yes, he wants to win track championships, but at the end of the day, what happens in the classroom is what really matters. Shout out to the teachers who are recognized tonight. Thank you for showing up each and every day for our students, to our cabinet members. I know it's not easy, and people down you, and they talk about the great things that you're doing, but just know you're doing great things, whether they want to accept it or not. You're doing great things, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And to our community members who continue to show up every day, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Mr. Engel?
Do I have to follow that?
You do have to follow that, and I'm glad it's you, not me.
Thank you, Tamika, for your passion. I appreciate that, and what you said also, every bit of it. You know, we've talked about EC a lot tonight, and I concur this is the most important part of the budget that we're seeing probably this year. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. I've got a kid that works as an EC teacher here in ABSS, and sometimes her caseload is 45 or 50 kids. I think it's down a little now, a little more than that. And I said, how do you handle that? She said, I pray a lot, Daddy. I said, well, that's a good thing. And she means that. But not only that, folks, I have a 7-year-old, and he's autistic, and he's nonverbal. And he goes to ABSS also. And he's named after me, and he has red hair. And I used to have red hair, but I don't anymore. But we really need to fill these EC teacher positions. I mean, it's an absolute necessity. Just the number of autistic kids we have in the system is what, about 400 maybe? That sound right? And I know there's different levels. I understand. Listen, I've read everything I can, you know, on autism because having a grandson that's autistic. But somehow, some way, even if it takes more money in a supplement to get them here, we've got to get them here because we owe them that. And besides that, we're probably violating some laws, maybe some federal laws, by not having them covered. So and my. I'm hearing this. I'm seeing this right here from the superintendent. So, you know, I told the city manager one time, I used to tell the city manager, that's what they make attorneys for. He said, please don't say that. Please don't say that. But anyhow, looking at that, when I look across this table, I know every single one, with the exception of Dr. Fleming, he's not from here, has children or grandchildren or people that are related to them, close relatives, or themselves, like that one sitting right there by the name of Seneca Rogers, who have been successful. Where did they go to school? They went through ABSS. This is a great school system, and I'm just tired of seeing idiots tear it down. I'll be just honest with you, folks. And it's just a minority. It's a bare minority. Yeah. This is a great system, and we're improving every single day. Thank you, Dr. McWhirter. We appreciate that. Thank you, Tony, for getting the money straightened out. Greg, thank you for getting the building straightened out. Thank you, Dr. Davis, all the staff. I thank all of you. we're heading in the right directions. I got 8.5 more months on this board, and I'm gonna go out with a bang. And I'm gonna tell you that right now. But we're gonna get things straightened out. It's going in the right direction in every way, and it's not gonna be one or two people that's gonna knock us down, folks. I'm through. I've read enough. Thank you.
I gotta follow that.
Yeah, you got fun. Yeah.
Did you have something, Ms. Harvey?
I do. I have one more thing.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I just need to shout out my niece Audrey, who goes to Hallfields Middle School. Today is her birthday, and I am here, so I did not get to celebrate with her, but I did want to tell her happy birthday.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. So I often say that the beauty of being chair is I can just say ditto, because I can relate to all of the comments and the passion that you guys have shown tonight. I'll try to be brief. I do want to address some of the comments that were made by our public speakers, particularly when it comes to politics. I think that we all lead for different reasons and in different ways. I sit in a nonpartisan seat. I didn't run for election and say, pick me because I wanted to be a politician. We have to keep the focus on the kids, and that's what I believe sitting in this seat is. There's no room for politics in our schools. We have enough of that at the county commissioner level, county government, state government, and federal government. I want us to keep the main thing all the time. It does not mean that we don't need to have clear, open, direct communication with our commissioners, with our state leaders, and with each other. But it does mean that we need to do it in a respectful way to where we focus on the common ground. We're 7 different people. We've got 5 different commissioners and 3 state leaders. And we all have different perspectives, different experiences, and different knowledge that we bring to the table. And when we can find the common ground, which is I think we all want our kids to be great leaders. They're going to be the 7 sitting up here one day. They're going to be the ones leading us and taking care of us. And a lot of the speakers talked about that. Public education matters. And our budget, thank you, Mr. Messer. Thank you to Dr. Fleming and to the whole team. It is focused on people. It is focused on safe learning environments in our facilities. And it is focused on academic performance. And we have got to start looking ahead and focusing on where we're going. And rather than dwell on where we've been, let's learn from it and use that as some momentum to move forward. I think Seneca or to me, somebody mentioned Sawyer. I was not at that Board of Commissioners meeting when Sawyer spoke. You've seen Sawyer stand at our podium. You've seen him stand at the commissioner podium. He is a student leader, and he is a absolutely fabulous example of what we have walking in the halls at ABSS. And I'm happy to say that Sawyer's not the only student leader that we have. We have really good things going on. And, I've been asked a couple of times about why I haven't spoken out specifically about some of the comments that have been made about ABSS, particularly from Commissioner Priola. I'm sorry.
I said you got me. Yes,
and my thing is sometimes silence is the best response, or no response, and show them with action. And that's what I'm choosing to do. We're getting ready to go into budget season. This is my 6th year working on the budget with the commissioners. I want us to be in a place where we can do so respectfully. I don't think that the budget, I think Mr. Wagner said it best in our work session, there's no fluff. I think Tamika addressed it earlier. Or Dr. Tarker as well, there's so much clarity in the budget process. This is what we're asking for, and this is why. Our job, our responsibility, the privilege that we have sitting on the school board is that we advocate for children. We don't advocate based on what the county's bottom line is. We don't advocate on what the latest trend is. We advocate for what our kids need. That's what our job is, and I think that's what this budget reflects. What happens when it goes from here, we can't control that. but we can lay our head down and know that we did the best that we could with what we asked for. So I do like that. All right, let me get back over to my notes. Rezoning, thank you. I think school camp left us this evening, but thank them for their work. Thank you for the board. This was a much better experience than it was last time. No offense to anyone. It doesn't mean that it was bad last time. It was just different. And I think this was a much more positive way to do something that's challenging. For the rezoning, yes, sir. Let's see. Thank you to all of those that spoke tonight. I know that the budget and the rezoning assignments, those are probably the two biggest pieces, the two biggest important and probably the most impactful votes that we'll take on this board for a while. So it's nice to be able to do that and do that unanimously. That shows a unity in this board. The consent agenda we approved this evening. We had over $19,000 in gifts from our community. So special shout out to Tanger Kids, Summit Church, Alexander Wilson PTO, First Baptist Church of Mebane, E.M. Yoder PTO, and Glen Raven for those gifts. When you attend if you don't attend our work sessions or you don't have an opportunity to watch it online, that's when our gifts are presented, and it's such a blessing to see the support that we get from our community. The PTOs and the PTOs, those are our parents. Those are ABSS families, ABSS families. The resolution comments, I talked about the political stuff, so I'm not going to revisit that. Around the district, I had the opportunity to attend the All-County Elementary Chorus performance and the All-County Orchestra performance. Both of those were fabulous. I had an opportunity to read. I see you looking at your watch, Dr. Fleming. I had the opportunity to read at 6 ABS pre-K classes in support with our Alamance Partnership for Children partners. I had the opportunity to read at Grove Park Elementary to their first graders, so thank you to Ms. Kearns for that invite. I still owe reading, I think, to Ms. Baker and to Beaver Jordan, so I'm going to work on those. I was traveling and unfortunately missed the All-County Band Concert and the annual 8th grade ALA celebration. Thank you, Ms. Harvey, for representing the board. I don't want to overlook those accomplishments. And then as I scroll Facebook, I see lots of students that participated in the science fair competition at the state level. I know Ms. Medora spoke on that earlier as well. And then let's see, you stole my thunder with the save the dates, so I'll skip over those, and that's all I have.
By the way, our clock is broken in the back. It got fried, I guess, or something happened to it. But it died. So I can't be as undercover.
Discreet?
Discreet. Here you go. As just looking at the back clock. So.
Does anybody else have any board comments or?
If you had a clock with hands, you would know exactly what time it was and how long it would take to get, from this part of the hour to the other. So that's all. Maybe one that set itself from satellite, so you'd never have to worry it was the wrong time.
All right. We will move forward with a motion from our Vice Chair, Mr. Engel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, I make a motion we enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 to preserve attorney-client privilege, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6 to consider confidential personnel information protected under North Carolina General Statute 115C-319 and 115C-321.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. We will move into closed session at this time. We are back in open session. At this time, I invite Dr. Fleming to the podium for the personnel report.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I recommend approval of the personnel report as discussed in closed session.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Is there any other business before the board this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you for being with us. Have a good night.